Hello all and welcome to our Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and today I'm coming to you with step 6 of our 12-step transition blanket. Ta-da! Ta-da! Now as you can see, have completed my whole of step 6. Now during the tutorial I say that you can actually double the amount of stitches and make step 6 that little tiny bit bigger because I don't know how far back I can go. Step 1 was our cream, which is this one right here. Step 2 was our lemon. Step 3 was the yellow. Step 4 was the kind of orangey browny colour. Step 5 was our red, gorgeous, I love that stitch. And step 6 is this one right here. Now what you're going to do on step 7 is grab the red and you're going to go backwards. Red, orange, yellow, lemon and cream. All right, so this is the center of your blanket. Halfway through there is actually the center of your blanket. All right, quick tip, if you wanted to, you could, like I said, double this length. Now the reason is we have 200 grams per color, except this color here. It's only used once, so you have literally you'll probably only use 100 grams or maybe even less. I've used about, I don't know, 70. It's very minimal, yeah. So if you wanted to double that middle section and have the middle section of your blanket bigger than the rest, I'll tell you how many you'll need to double it, okay? So that's if you wanted to double it today. I mentioned it was going to be a very basic stitch this month, and it is. All right, I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to let you get started creating step 6. Part 6 of our 12-step transition blanket. Good luck all. Alrighty guys, where I left you off in step 5, I asked you to complete a row of single crochets. Alright, let's just assume you haven't completed the last stitch, and if you don't like joining the way I do, you can cast off and just add your new colour in the stitch. Alright, and then the very next stitch when you turn your work over. But for me, I like to pop my hook in the last stitch, pull a loop through and don't finish the stitch. Let's just remove that stitch marker for a minute. And finish the stitch with our new colour, and mine being maroon. Okay, so pop your hook, your loop on your hook, pull your loop through like so, holding both of your tails at the back. Chain 1, tighten it up. Turn your piece. I'm only going to turn it a little bit, turn the piece in a minute. We're going to place a standing double crochet or a stacked single crochet in that stitch. Now if you want to do a chain 3, by all means you can do that, but what I like to do, and I give it a stretch so I can find the stitch, that's the chain we just did, that's the stitch that your chain is in, that's where you want your standing double crochet to be. Pop your hook in that stitch, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops, and then you literally go into not that top loop but the one just beneath it, like so. Pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. This is going to be tricky to see this pattern because the maroon is relatively dark, but this is the easiest pattern you will do throughout this whole blanket. There is nothing easier than step 6, all right? And we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, for now we're going to do a double crochet US treble UK in the very next stitch. Easy, you've been doing them all the way through your piece. So off you go doing your double crochet in each one of these single crochets all the way across your piece for this row, okay? And when you get to the end of the row, you will still have 129 stitches. That's what we started off with when we first started our blanket. You will have 129 stitches. All right, I don't think I need to show you anymore. What I would like for you to do is grab your hook and everything and just do your double crochet all the way across. Get to the end of this row right here, just before your stitch marker. Meet me there once you're done and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. All right, go ahead and do your double crochets all the way across and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, I actually left my scissors here before to remind me to tell you to cut your red And I forgot too. Can you believe it? Anyway, moving right along, you would have, oh, by the way, you may see stitch markers. That's just one place at every 20th stitch to help me count, to make sure I was in count. And I have exactly 127 at the moment, but I still have my last 2 stitches to create. Make sure that you have 129 stitches by the end of this row. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but if you don't, just add one in your next row, anywhere in your next row, okay? If you're one less. If you're one more, then you need to take off. You know how to do that. We've done it in previous tutorials on this blanket, all right? So now you're chaining 1, turning your work, popping your standing double crochet in that first stitch. You know how to do that. We've been doing those stitches all the way along now. And you just saw me do one before, so do one of those. And again, you have another simple row. Yarn over your hook into the next stitch with double crochet. And again, double. I'm glad this pattern is going to be easy because you really can't see these stitches on the channel. Not really, not with the maroon, okay? But it doesn't matter. You know, I've got to be honest with you guys. I'm not loving this colour. Whoops, don't tell them. I am not loving this colour. Anyway, you know why? Because I'm a grand red lover and the red is right near it and it's just put me off. All right, super easy. Oh, hello, not even in frame. Excuse me. Not in frame. There we go. Super easy. Double crochet in every stitch all the way across. Get to your last stitch. Wait for me there and get ready for pattern number 6 for our 12-step transition blanket. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of our second row. And as you guys know, we do 2 rows of double crochet in between each transition. So this is our second and final row for this section here. I split that yarn. No, I haven't. It's just tight. Let me take this out. Pop your double crochet in your last stitch. Don't fight with it like I've done. Just remove that stitch marker and do it that way. Pretty sure I split the yarn with the stitch marker, but anyway, there we go. Now what we're going to do is chain 1. You're not doing a standing double crochet for this row, no. For this row, all you're doing is, it's hard to turn the blanket over now. Yarn over your hook. Let's just tighten that chain. So yarn over your hook, the very first stitch you come to, you've got your little chain there. And then if you stretch it, you'll find your stitch right there. You're popping a half double crochet US, half treble UK with your yarn over your hook right in that stitch. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, grab your stitch marker. If you can get it in. It's the stitch marker that gives me grief. It keeps splitting the yarn. All right. Yarn over your hook, you're going to do half double crochets across every stitch in this row. So you've got your yarn over your hook in the very next stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3, and that's half double crochet US, half treble UK in every stitch all the way across your piece. Super easy, yeah? Super duper easy. You don't even have to see this, guys. I think you can manage this row. Look how quick this row is going to be. You're going to fly through this row. All right, so half double crochet into every stitch, all the way across your piece until you get to your last stitch marker. And wait for me there, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so here we are at the end of this row. Get excited because we're doing our, we're so far away, excuse me. We're doing our half double crochet in our very last stitch there, like so. Chain 1. Remove your stitch marker and just replace it in that loop and get ready for some instructions. There's quite a few instructions here. So I'll be showing you most of the instructions right here, and then later we'll transition and we can talk more about measurements and yarn. It's something that I wanted to talk about during this particular part of our blanket, or step, if you will, of our 12-step transition blanket, because it is step 6. It is the center of your blanket. Right, so let's just quickly talk about that now. You've got step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is a 6. After this color, we go back to the previous color, which was the color before. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then the next section is our border rounds, which will be the 12th step. Now, quick heads up, over the past few colours, the past 5 colours if you will, you have been creating them to suit, and let me grab that measuring tape. Oops, sorry about that. You've been managing to make about 9.5, well, let's get a close up, 9.5, 10 centimetres throughout most of your pieces. Some of them are a little bit more than others. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're rough measurement. This is a sort of blanket that you don't have to fuss too much with exact measurements. Okay, it's rough, right? What you need to do for the center section, however, and it's up to you if you've got 200 grams of yarn like I have 200 grams here today. What you need to do is to create either 9, 10, whatever it is, or 19 or 20, and make your center piece double if you want, all right? Or you could do the amount of rows to suit each other section of the blanket. The reason I'm giving you the option is because I've got the 200 grams, and I still haven't decided yet. I'm going to think about that in a minute. But because I've got the 200 grams, I could actually, I'm not going to be using the 200 grams anymore after today, except for 25 grams of your middle colour. You need to save 25 grams of that little middle colour because we're going to use it later. This is part of why I wanted to talk about the blanket, to put single crochets on the border of each colour. So you'll have single crochets in maroon, single crochets in red, single crochets in the every other colour all the way through. We're going to talk about that on in December, literally on the final part of our pattern. However, I do want you to keep at least 25 grams of this colour at the end. So if you decide to do, I don't know, double the amount of rows that I do, because it's a centre colour, just make sure you've got 25 grams left. Just weigh it on some kitchen scales that you might have. If you don't have kitchen scales, weigh yourself on normal scales, and then wind a little ball of wool up. Literally, this is how I've done it in the past. Hold it, weigh yourself again. It'll tell you whether you've gone up by 25 grams. If you've only gone up by 5, keep winding, hold it, weigh yourself again. All right, these are just little tips that I use when I'm creating something like this, where I'm trying to make sure I leave enough yarn to do single crochets along here. Now, I say single crochets, guys, but some of them could even be half double, because remember how we did some edging? Some of the edging might go in a little bit, because this stitch you needed to have 128 stitches for this to work. So you're 1 stitch short in this section. So around the center somewhere, we may be putting a couple of half double crochets. All right, that's how we straighten up edges on our border rounds when the blanket is crooked, and it's crooked on purpose for us because we want to, well, I wanted to show you guys how to adjust it to suit. This is too much, but anyway. All right, so that's just too much for you to worry about right now. All I want you to worry about is, do you want your middle section to be the same as all your other sections, or would you like to double the length in the middle and have a good 20 centimeters worth? All right, if so, this is what I want you to do. It's half double crochet in every row until you reach the measurement that you want. Alrighty guys, I told you it was going to be super easy. Yeah, in actual fact, half double crochet is becoming my favourite stitch for a little while, but we'll see how we go with that. Moving right along, now all you need to do is repeat the last row we just did for another 11 more rows if you want this measurement, which is the same measurement as each one of our sets. Might be off by like 0.5 millimetre or something, but don't worry about that, right? But if you want to double your maroon, because we've got plenty of yarn, you can double it by making 24 5 more rows. Okay, so you can either do 11 rows or you can do another 25 rows altogether. All right, it's entirely up to you. And that's pretty much it for step 6. Now, quick tip, step 7 or part 7, either way, whatever you want to call it, will be on the 3rd of July, Thursday the 3rd of July. And yeah, that's when it's coming up. And we're going back to the red. All right, so I hope you understand what I meant by we did the 1 month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then there's border rounds. Simple as that. Your 12th month or the 12th step is I say because you'll probably do more than one border round, yeah? Your border rounds. So there you go. All right. Thank you very much for joining us here at Wow Crochet Designs for step 6 of our 12-step transition blanket. Remember, 11 rows if you want to do this size, 25 rows if you want to double it. I'll see everyone soon. Join us on our lives at 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoons, 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, Melbourne, Australia time. Marry that up with your country. My name's Mary and this is Wow Crochet Designs. Ciao for now.